I'm pretty sure I could pass as a mermaid. Hello, welcome. I'm Hannah, and I have such an exciting video for you today because I could finally talk about these new Devinah shadows. If you've been living under a rock, you might be saying, oh, Devinah has a new collection? No, Devinah has two new collections. Today we're going to be doing eye swatches of the Sea of Shadows collection and the Mystic Cove collection. Both of these are launching on April 22nd. I was kindly gifted them by Devinah, which I am so extremely grateful for, and I'm going to do eye swatches. Did I already say that? Yeah, I did. Let's just talk about the collection a little bit before we get into the eye swatches. The Sea of Shadows collection, which is the 7 up here, it's a sparkly shifter collection. It will be code eligible. Each shadow retails for $8. If you use my code, which is Hannah, you would get them for $6.40 each. The bundle of them is $56. And then the Mystic Cove collection is a collection of multi-chromes, and each of these are $17, but the bundle will be $84, which makes them $14 a shadow, and these ones aren't code eligible. So as I said, my code is just Hannah. It isn't an affiliate code, so I don't make any money when you use it, but it does show the brand that it's worth it to them to give me the opportunity to showcase the products before their launch. So if you do choose to use it, if this is helpful for you in making decisions, I would be so grateful for that. Means a lot to me. Thank you very much. And without further ado, let's just zoom in and get into it. I can't wait any longer. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Sea of Shadows collection. I have not touched a single one of these. I have used a couple of the multi-chromes. We'll talk about those in a little bit, but the sparkly shifters, completely pristine. I'm so excited about these because some of my favorite shadows from Devinah are in the $8 price point, and I feel like their duochromes kill it. So excited for them. I've already seen swatches of these on their Instagram. At the time I'm filming, they haven't like revealed this collection yet, but I have seen the swatches of these and they look so pretty. I think I'm gonna start with the two warmer ones and then we'll get into the cool tones, but I do like that there's like you see the theme of the like sea, the beachy thing, but there's enough of a difference between the shadows that like it makes sense, and I think there is something for everyone in here. Some look more like the two chromes in there are like farther apart on the color wheel, which I'm so excited about. Some look closer together, which I'm also excited about for other reasons that we'll talk about when we get to them. But I think the first one I want to try out is Sunset Sands. Ooh, this looks so pretty. And these are already listed on the website, so I can see descriptions. It's called a tropical sunset of oranges, yellows, and pinks, all packed into one eyeshadow. It looks so sparkly. It looks to my eye like a gold sparkle over like an orange base. I love the way Devinah shadows pick up. I don't like when shadows have like no texture to pick up, but I also don't like when they're so flaky that they just like fall everywhere. And these have like such a nice softness to them that you can feel it picking up out of the pan, but it's not going to be a disaster. I don't have anything on my eyes. We're just going into a bare eyelid. Wow. This is pretty. I like this type of shadow because it's like one step above a neutral, you know? It definitely looks like a gold from afar, but it is a fun gold. And I think the base of that orange really picks up well. I'm also going to try to add in some other angles of these, but I will do that once I have like a shadow on both eyes. I'm patting a little bit more on just for fun. Really pretty. I love the brightness to it. And I could 100% see myself reaching for this if I want something neutral but stepped up a notch. The next one might be the one that I'm most excited about in the Sea of Shadows collection. This one is Frothy Surf. And when they showed the swatch of it on their Instagram, I just about died. It's described as a coral mix of greens and pinks. It's like a beach in a pan. This one feels just like the other one. I was kind of reflecting on this the other day about how I feel like of all the indie brands that I love and I use, I think Devinah is the one that's the most consistent formula-wise within a collection. You know, I feel like other brands I've tried, it's like some are more texture than others, some are more multi-chromatic than others, and I feel like Devinah like really has their collections pinpointed, so you know if you like the formula, you can count on getting that formula, you know? Generally, that seems to be the case. We'll see if that's the case this time, too. Cute. As I said all that, I do think this one feels a little bit thinner going on. But once I layer it, ooh, once I layer it up a little bit, it feels good. Yeah, I like having these on together too because they are similar, but they're different. Like this one feels more like a true duochrome. In the light, you see the gold. In the shadow, you see the orange. And this, it feels like the goldy green sparkle jumps around a little bit more. And even when it's in the shadow, you still see it mixed in with the coral. Ooh, I like that. I think I'm also seeing the base of it looks a little bit more pink here, but a little bit more orange over that way. Cool. Yeah, these are similar shades, but they're different. There's different things going on here. And definitely the sparkle here, it already looks more like a lime, and this one seems to be staying pretty gold. It is like teetering towards the green border, but hasn't made it there, at least in this light. I love duochromes. I just flipped around and I think this one, Sunset Sands, really does look the same even out of the light. But this one, do you see that bright coral? That looks like an entirely different shadow. And I think the lime green looks a lot more lime green over here. Yeah, interesting. Obviously, this is only 2 different lightings that I've tried these in so far. But yeah, this one looks the same, consistent, beautiful, sparkly, but consistent. And this one looks like it really transforms in different lights. And I love that. Okay, so I removed the last shadows and I just went over with my dirty foundation brush just to get the moistness to go away. And that's what I will be continuing to do throughout this. Okay, so next I think we're gonna do 2 of the more straightforward looking shimmers. And let me tell you what I'm excited about with shades like this. So the first one is Offshore Mist. And the thing I like, it's a little bit more you get what you see, but what you get is a little bit more interesting and nuanced than what you see. With this type of shadow, it makes me think of Centaurus that I have from Devinah that I really love because that one looks like a neutral in the pan, and you do get a neutral, but it flips between like bronze and gold. It doesn't flip like to the other side of the rainbow, but it flips enough to make it like nuanced and interesting. I think this one and the next one and another one is going to do that same thing. So it's described as a blend of greens mixed with twinkles of blue and gold. From what I've seen in the swatches, it looks like lime green to mint. Pretty. My earring fell out. Cool. Yeah, I will say, I think this collection is a little bit of a thinner collection compared to other shadows that I have in the $8 price point from Devinah. I hope I was being clear before. I don't think all of their $8 collections are the same formula as each other, but I think within each collection, you get the same formula. That's what I was trying to say before. Cute. I'm not always the biggest mint gal, but I love that this is like a mint and lime green. Over here in the light looks a little bit more mint, and then out here looks a little bit more lime green. We'll see also in the indirect lighting what it looks like. And I do love the brightness. I love a bright shadow, and I think as mints go, I'm down with this one. What did I have in a recent random palette? It was a Menagerie mint and a Luxie mint, and both of them I was just like a little bit over. And I feel like this is the type of shadow that will replace those for me, because it's just a little bit more than mint, and I like that. The next shadow I'm really excited about. This one is called Aqua Abyss. And I just feel like this like intense bluey turquoise is kind of hard to come by. I don't know if I have other shadows quite like this. The only other turquoise I could think of is I have one from Colored Rain, and that kind of fits my like straightforward shimmer category. But I think this is like, you know, what I was saying. It looks like a straightforward shimmer, but I'm expecting a little bit more out of it. It's described as a deep dive into the Pacific blue with hues of aqua and teal with a sprinkle of purplish pink. Cool. Pretty. Feels like the others. Oh yeah. Yeah, again, just gonna layer it up a little bit. Oh, pretty. Ooh, I love that depth, and I love that brightness. I hope you see what I mean, that it just like really stands off of my skin. I like that. I do see like a brighter sea blue. The base is more of like a deep water blue. Look at me using oceanic descriptive terms. Pretty. Yeah, I think as turquoises go, I like this. It's like a little step up from other turquoises that I have without being like a full-on opposite sides of the color wheel type of situation. I want to make a look with this one and like reds, like a fire on the water. Okay, so again, I'm turned around and I feel like I'm seeing even more depth to offshore mist than what I saw in the direct lighting. So that's cool. I like that. And then for Aqua Abyss, this makes me like it even more. The good lighting is good to see what you're going to get, but this is more realistic to what people are going to see you look like in person, you know? So I see that purplish pink in there. That's so pretty. And I think I'm seeing even more dimension to the teal also, like a much lighter sparkle coming up in there. Almost like a green sparkle. That's really pretty. I definitely am feeling this one big time. My favorite band just posted a little sneak peek. This next one, Half Sea Fog. I'm trying to not just say I'm so excited to describe everything, but I'm so excited about this one. This one looks from the swatches like a dusty teal that flips to a lime green and flips to a pink. And I think you could see in the pan too. And I love that. I love when it's so like visible, the weirdness in the pan. This one actually feels a little bit more textured when I pick it up. It does kind of go down the same kind of like smoothness though as the other ones. I picked up a little bit more on my finger. Yeah, interesting. This one I do think has a little bit of a different texture. Ooh, I love the look of that though. It felt thinner than the other ones, and I think like something about the sparkle looks a little bit different. I know it's hard to see because I think I'm a little bit messy with sparkle from my other eye swatches, but I think the sparkle in this one is a bit of a smaller particle, which I don't really think affects it once it's on the eye, but it does affect how it feels going on, and I always try to describe that as best I can. This one, though, is so special. This shadow has so many different colors in it. It has that, like, base of tealness with the pink sparkle in it, and with that, like, bright lime green to it. Cool. This shadow is definitely not like anything else I have. Ooh, you know what I want to do with this shadow? I want this all over the lid with like a bright light pink in the center. I think that would look so pretty. Or even like deeper pink mattes or like purple mattes with this. I'm gonna do that look sometime. I like this one. Cool. The next one we're gonna do is called Swirling Waters. I wanted to do these two together because I think these both look like a similar depth teal, but this one's definitely way more of like a grungy teal, and this one looks a little bit more of a bright teal and more of that kind of like straightforward color that only shifts to a color that's more similar to it. It's described as a shimmer that shifts through the hues of blue with twinkles of yellow. Okay. Okay, cute. This one looks like a lighter version of that Aqua Abyss. More of like a mid-toned version of it. Ooh, I like that brightness. There's definitely a Lucy shade that I'm reminded of in this one that I will compare to at the end, but I think this one has more of that yellow to it, like it says. I do think though, like looking at these next to each other, you can see the brightness of this one, and I don't think this one quite has the same brightness. I think if you're looking for something different in your collection, this could be it. Or if you lean towards things that don't have that brightness. For me, I am still excited about it because of the colors in it, and I think I will probably just brighten it up with another dab of pink on top of it. But I think having these next to each other, you can like, you know, you can see the difference in brightness between them. Okay, now that we're back at the other angle, I don't think either of these look too dramatically different so far. You could really see that pink sparkle everywhere in this one, and I think the yellow in this one's pretty prominent. But yeah, I do think with these shadows, maybe it's more like what you see is what you get. Okay, we're on to the last one from the Sea of Shadows collection, and then we will be moving on to the Mystic Cove collection. I do think my eyelids look like vaguely cool toned. Like I think that last teal did stain here, and maybe a little bit here. I can't tell, definitely here though. The last shadow from the Sea of Shadows collection is Frozen Waves. which looks so pretty. This was the first one that they revealed. Deandra had said that it might be her favorite from this collection, and I definitely see why. And it could potentially be mine too. That's so pretty. I love teal sparkle over like a cool toned base. And I think that's what this is going to be like. On the website, it says, this sparkle shifter is everything cool toned from its plummy pink to its tealy green. Cute. Cute. You know, I think these definitely do work in one coat. It's just something about the texture of it makes me want to build it up to a second layer. And I feel like at the second layer, it feels exactly like how I want a shadow to feel. Look at that shift though. Ooh, I wasn't expecting that plumminess to look so plummy. Great description. You know, it looks very pinkish in there, and I did not foresee that. Ooh, I like that. I think the shadow is cool too because you could definitely play it up in a couple different ways. I probably would pair this with like a teal inner corner and maybe like a purple in my lower lash line. I feel like that would be really pretty. Maybe a pinky-ish transition color. This one is definitely like way up my alley though. Ooh, I love that. This might be my favorite one too from this collection. Okay, let's switch gears to the Mystic Cove collection. I'm just gonna start going into it right away so then I could be left with one so I could leave that on my eyelids. You don't need to know that, but that's what I'm gonna do. And these shadows, I'm even more excited about. As I said, I did use a couple of them just because I figured I wouldn't have any swatches from the brand to go off of before filming this video. So I wanted to have some kind of background to be able to share with you, and I do. So I'm excited about the ones I've used already. I'm excited about the ones that I haven't used. Devinah's multichromes are so good. Their Phantom Orbs collection, which is all multichromes that launched last fall, are some of my favorite shadows in my whole collection, and some of these look like extensions from those vibes. I can't wait to get into them. For some background knowledge, these shadows are all about the sea gods and goddesses, nymphs, and demons. Okay, so the first shadow I'm going to swatch for you, it's called Skyla? I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. It's a monstrous sea demon who preyed on passing sailors. Badass. This is one that I have used so far, and I'll be able to tell you a little bit about it while I put it on. These feel so soft and lovely. I can tell you that of the texture of the shifters versus the multichromes, I definitely prefer these multichromes. They have so much like little sparkle within them, and I absolutely love that. This shadow, when I put it on, my first impression was it kind of reminds me of Solar Delirium from Terra Moons, but it's different. I will do a comparison of them towards the end, but this one has less of a base than some of the other ones, and it's just so sparkly with all these like different colored sparkles. I hope you can see that it has what looks to me like an even amount of red sparkle and green sparkle while also having like a yellowness to it. It's such an interesting shadow, but because it doesn't have much of a base, I feel like it makes it just like infinitely easier to wear, and it makes it a different experience than wearing Solar Delirium is. I love Solar Delirium, but I love this one for different reasons. Ugh, it's just so pretty. I think this is the type of shadow also that because it doesn't seem to have that intense of a base, I could add it into different looks. If I'm wearing something orangey or yellowy, I could pat this in the center and add those like sparkles into it, but also clearly intense enough and beautiful enough to wear on its own. Let me know if you like when I have a little bit of thoughts before I come into the video. I feel like it's so much fun to experience my first impressions along with you, but when I've tried some of them already, I've already kind of gone through the motions of feeling my first impressions and coming to terms with like what they mean, and I feel like that's what I can deliver to you in this shadow. I need to take a breath. Man, I like this shadow though. I'm excited about it. Let's see how it looks in other light. I totally forgot to mention also, it has like a green shift to it. And in this other lighting, you can see so much of the red sparkle too. Right? Love it. It's like neon. Woo! This shadow too, super pretty. Can't forget about her. And that like plum that we saw in the other light of just like a little shift. It's like a bright pink sparkle. That's so pretty. I love a bright pink sparkle. Okay, next I want to do the other two shadows that I've tried before so I can finish with the three that I haven't, because that is the most fun for me. So the next one is the shade called Thusa, and this is the first one that I tried when I opened this collection. And actually, I filmed a video where I kind of hauled my stuff that I bought from the Sephora VIB sale, and I put it all on my face, and I put this one on my eyes in that video. So that's not up yet. It's probably going to be posted on like Saturday, April 22nd, hopefully. Stay tuned to see me put it on for the first time. It's really pretty. It's a sea nymph, the mother of the Cyclops Polymeus by Poseidon. Cool. So pretty. This was a shadow that I didn't think would deliver as much as it did. I thought it was going to be like a pretty light pink with blue sparkle, but this shadow has so much going on to it, and that bright tealness really surprised me. This, to me, is like a mermaid in a shadow. I'm going to be wearing this so much this summer. It has a mid-toned pink base to it. It has this bright, gorgeous teal all throughout it. So bright. And maybe we'll see it in the other lighting here, but when I wore it the other day, I was seeing some like really bright purple to it. Again, I don't have the descriptions of these yet, so I don't know what it's described as having, but this is all what I've seen, and I was so impressed by that. And like this depth of shadow is the kind of thing I find myself reaching for a lot. It somehow feels easier to work with than a shadow that has a deeper or intense base to it. And I just know I'm going to be reaching for this shadow so much. And it's so pretty, and I don't think I have anything else like this in my collection. Okay, and the other one I've worn is Palemon. This is a sea god protector of sailors and fishermen who was depicted as a boy riding dolphinback. This has such like an intense tealish blue base to it, so I was surprised when I wore it the other day, and the predominant base that you see is more of like a sky blue. If you've been here before, you might know one of my favorite matte shadows of life is Cetacean from Menagerie, which is like just a really perfect sky blue. And I feel like this, that blue, looks just like it, but it shifts to an intense teal. And then it also has sparkles of like red and green and yellow within it. It is definitely in the same family as shadows like Stellar Apotheosis from Terra Moons, but it just feels different. I will compare them. I haven't compared them yet, but I kind of feel like this one, the blue is a little bit more forefront than it is in the Terra Moons one. But either way, I love this shadow. I love the formula of this shadow, and when it comes to shades that I love, I'm not opposed to having more than one of them. But I think it also is good to know if you're someone who's been eyeing Stellar Apotheosis and this bundle looks good to you, or Devinah's formula is a tried and true for you. I can tell you that this one is absolutely lovely. I wore it the other day. I really liked it. I also like with these shadows also that there's such like minimal fallout. I know it's kind of hard to say that right now because after putting on, what, 10 shadows on my lid so far, I definitely have some glitter around my face, but there's no like big flakes or chunks that come off of my finger as I'm applying these. I like that. Do you see that? What even is that? I love it. That's so intensely bright green. I forgot to say also that the other day when I wore it, I got in my car and I like checked my rear view and I got like a glimpse of my eyeshadow and it was so bright green. Ooh, I love this one. So beautiful. So many different colors to it. Amazing. This shadow, maybe you can kind of see the purpliness to it, but it's not showing here as bright as I saw it the other day. But believe me, there's a lot going on to the shadow, and that bright teal is so pretty. Oh my god, this looks like a watermelon right now. I love these. This next one, I can't believe isn't one of the ones that I've used so far because it's the one that I was the most excited about, probably. Yeah, I think it's the one I was most excited about. I love a bright pink, and this looks like a neon pink, but as I move it around, I see this like orange to it also. I'm so excited to see what all is in here. This is called Electra, which also excites me because it makes me think of like Electra Heart from Marina. Love it. One of the Oceanides, the wife of sea god Thaumas and mother of the rainbow and the storm gusts. Cool. Pretty. I am seeing some flashes of like gold and green in my finger, but I don't think that's coming up on camera. Okay, the first layer of this one did go on a little softer than the other ones, but let me just try to get a little bit more on my finger. I am seeing some flakes in here. Smooth out on my eye though, you wouldn't know, so it really is just the experience of picking it up was a little bit more difficult than the other ones, but this shade, cool. I like the brightness of it. I see this like gorgeous mid-toned bright pink, a paler, more champagne pink in the middle, and then like an orangey gold out there. Ooh, so pretty. I'm also so excited to see what it looks like in the indirect lighting because I feel like all these multi-chromes come alive when you change up the lighting on them, and I love that. This one is really pretty. The penultimate shadow is Galeen, and this is the goddess of calm seas. Galeen, Galeen. Just kidding, we're not doing that. This one feels a little bit firmer in the pan. Oh, and a little bit more emollient as I'm putting it on my eye. So it is interesting. I think the two of these are the ones that kind of like went against the normal formula of the collection. Interesting. Yeah, I think up close it looks sparkly, but it definitely is like the smoothest. How pretty though. I feel like I had sheets when I was a kid that were this color of lavender. Yeah, I'm seeing that pink sparkle to it. I'm seeing a lot of bluish lavender within it, and I'm also seeing blue sparkle around the edges of it. I love pinks and I love blues and I love purples. This shadow has all of them in it. I feel like I'm going to reach for this shade a lot. Hello. I'm seeing so much more pink sparkle to this when I look at it in the indirect lighting. Is that some green in there too? Is that some green? I feel like that's some green in there too. I really like this one. And this shadow, ooh, that brightness of the pink. This one does look like more of what we saw in the other lighting, but that pink is so bright. And I probably should have said this earlier, but like what I'm facing right now is just like a dark wall. Like I have a window in front of me that's shut. I have a light in front of me that's not on. So this is just kind of like the lighting that's just around the room when I don't have a light facing me. Ooh, these sparkles are so bright. We are on to the final shadow, and I put down eye primer because there's no way I'm removing another shadow in the foreseeable future. I don't feel like eye primer affects the performance of eye swatches or anything. I just think it makes it stay on longer, and I am going out to a comedy show tonight, so this is going to be my look in public. The last shadow that we have, I'm so excited. I saved this one because I knew I wanted to wear it today. It's called Amphitrite. This looks like a pink with like gold in it. I'm really curious. I'm really excited. Looks so up my alley. It's the goddess queen of the sea, wife of Lord Poseidon. You go, Amphitrite. I wish you could see what I see from my eyes, but I'm also seeing like a purpliness to it and like a cool green to it also. I love the texture that's coming up on it. Ooh, I'm so excited for this one. Beautiful. My first impression is I feel like this could be like a long lost one from the Phantom Orbs collection. And I loved the Phantom Orbs collection. Ooh. Cute. My thing is I really love shadows that are in between pink and purple, and I feel like the base of this is exactly that. Is that pink or is that purple? I don't know, but I love it. And then it has this like cornflower yellow sparkle to it. It's like a different tone than some of the sparkles we've seen in the other shades. That's really pretty. Okay, I think I've officially run out of adjectives, not like I ever had that many to begin with. But before I just tell you how pretty it is a bunch of times, I'm going to finish my makeup look. We'll come back. I'll give you some more thoughts. Okay. And here's the finished look. I feel like this eyeshadow really is like the baby of Luna Storm and Nocturne Ash, which were two of the shadows from the Phantom Orbs collection, and I loved those. And I love how this looks. I always just feel like pinky, goldy shadows are just like neutrals. Like this just feels like, ooh, I have a new beautiful neutral. It's literally not, but ooh, I love it. It just feels like native to my face, you know? So I just paired it with some random mattes. I think I used the Urban Decay Robin Eisenberg palette in my crease, the Patrick Ta palette on the lash line, and then my inner corner is Devinah Verdant Frost from the Phantom Orbs collection. And I really like this. I feel like this is going to end up being my most worn shadow out of all of these shadows. Okay, so here's where I normally rank these. And I'm staring at these and having such a hard time thinking about how I would rank them. I do feel like, as I was saying, the formulas within the collections are pretty consistent with a couple of exceptions, but none of the exceptions I really hold against them. Or it kind of like evens out, because like I was saying before with the Sea of Shadows, the shadow Half Sea Fog, I feel like it wasn't as bright and it took a little bit more building up than the other ones. But I really liked the effect of it, and I feel like in use, I'm just going to add a little sparkly other shadow on top, and I'll be happy with that because it is so unique. So like maybe formula-wise, I would rank it lower than others, but effect-wise, I would still rank it high because it's unique and I'm excited about it. And then the same thing with, I think, the most notable exception in the Mystic Cove collection, which was Electra. Even though this one took a little bit more building up, it still got there, and I still really like the look of the sparkle and the color of it. I will say, to compare the formulas, I feel like Devinah does price things accordingly, and you get what you pay for. They make really gorgeous $8 shadows, but in my opinion, the multichromes are where it's at. You know, there's a reason that they're priced higher, because the shadows are just so gorgeous, and I believe that the ingredients that go into them are more expensive ingredients, and it shows. If you get the bundle for the multichromes, the Mystic Cove collection, you do save $3 a shadow. So you're kind of paying for 5 of them and getting 6 of them. I think that's good to keep in mind, that if there's 4 that you wanted to buy, then you would get the last 2 for the price of 1 more. But of course, you save the most money by buying less. So if your goal is to spend less money, then picking up the 1 or 2 that you like the most is of course the best option. I don't want to ignore that or be like a buy person. For the Sea of Shadows, when you buy the bundle, you aren't saving any money. So I think that's worth thinking about if there's only a couple that you want to pick up from that collection. I think when it comes to the Sea of Shadows, my favorites are Frothy Surf, which was that corally one, and Frozen Waves. I'll swatch these out too. Okay, yeah, so my favorites were Frothy Surf and Frozen Waves. I would say after that, my next favorites were Half Sea Fog and Aqua Abyss. And when it comes to the other 3, I probably will be reaching for them less. But at the same time, like I was saying before, when it comes to like a lime green or a mint, I feel like shadows like this and this turquoise are going to come up a lot in my like build your own palettes or my duping other palette videos, but they're just not necessarily the shades that I reach for on an everyday basis. But if you are a person that does reach for turquoise and lime green on an everyday basis, maybe they are up your alley. But I would say that the 4 I like the best, Frozen Waves, Half Sea Fog, Aqua Abyss, and Frothy Surf, I like them the best because they are the most unique for my collection, and the 4 of them had gorgeous shifts that I'm really excited about. And then on to the Mystic Cove shadows. These shadows have my heart. I'm so excited about the 6 of these. I would say, if I had to choose a favorite, it would be Thusa. I was just so surprised by all the different shifts and colors, and I think it's so unique in my collection. I'm also really excited about this one that I'm wearing, Amphitrite. It's so up my alley, and it's the kind of thing that's just like easy for me to throw on. And I think it's just like a really pretty combination of colors. Ooh, these swatches. I think my next favorite after those is probably Skyla. I love the intense flip to it, that like surprising neon green, and I just love the effect on the eyes, the like small, piecey, colorful sparkle. So pretty, so unexpected, really into it. And then I loved this one, Galeen. It just has all of the colors that I love wearing the most in it. Ugh, I loved Electra because I love that bright neon pink that I feel like is underrepresented in my collection. And then I also loved that one, Haliamon. I think if I lost these tomorrow, I think I would rebuy the Mystic Cove collection, and I think I would get the 3 shiftiest of the Sea of Shadows. I like them all and I'm happy to have them all, but just thinking about how much use I'll get out of them, I do tend to reach for more unique shadows the most, and these 3 are really special. We have Scylla from Devinah, Solar Delirium from Terra Moons, and Pollux from Terra Moons. You can see they're all in the same family, but no 2 are exactly alike, and actually Scylla and Solar Delirium are more different than I thought they would be. These 2 are both definitely more yellow, and Scylla in this light seems to lean a little bit more golden orange, and Pollux just doesn't shift in the same way. Besides that, there's also the formula differences, like I mentioned. Solar Delirium feels like it has a little bit more of an orange base, and Scylla is a little bit more of like a scattered sparkle, but it does give you a full sparkle intensity on the eyes. Next I have Galeen from Devinah, which I wanted to compare to Once Upon a Time from Luxie. It felt like the most similar tone in my collection, but looking at them now, Galeen is way more cool toned. I'd say Galeen is more of like a light powder blue with shifts of purple instead of a straight up purple. Next I have Paleomon from Devinah. Ooh. And next to Stellar Apotheosis from Terra Moons. So you can see, they are very similar, but I do think the blue base stands out more on the Devinah one, and it looks a little bit more orange in its flip, and the Terra Moons one looks straight up red. They're definitely similar shadows, but they're not the exact same. This one no one's asking about, but I'll throw in as a little fun bonus. We have Frothy Surf from Devinah. So pretty, and I'm comparing it to Gummy from Luxie. It's a recent shadow, but it doesn't have a texture that I really like. It's an extremely thin texture, and you can see the Devinah one is way more sparkly. Next we have Frozen Waves from Devinah. Someone on Instagram had asked me how it compares to Party Monster from Give Me Glow, and at first I was like, what? Like, in my head, they were so different, but then I tested it and I was like, oh, they're pretty similar. I would say Party Monster does look like base might be a little bit more intense, but super similar in tone. Same tone of like teal sparkle and the same like berry purplish base. But the Devinah one might be a little bit lighter in strength and in tone. Next we have Thusa from Devinah, and I really don't have anything I could think of that's very similar. I figured I would compare it to Halley's Comet from Terra Moons, since that was a new one that just came out, but you can see overall the Terra Moons one is very blue, and in Thusa, that teal flip is very prominent, that like in a lot of lights it barely even looks like a pink, although it is. I love both of them. I'm so happy I have both of those shadows in my collection. Next we have Devinah Swirling Waters, and I wanted to compare that to Luxie Under the Sea. It was the one that I couldn't think of the name of. I would say these 2 look really similar. I think if anything, the Luxie one might be a little bit deeper, but just a hair. I would say there's probably not much of a reason to own both of these. Next we have Devinah Half Sea Fog. This I definitely don't have anything spot on, but I want to compare it to Sydney Grace Keep It Fun, which is kind of similar in tone but doesn't have that flip that makes Half Sea Fog so unique. And then also Devinah Aquila, which is clearly much more green. Really pretty sparkle on that one though. Next we have Devinah Aqua Abyss. This I also don't really have any dupes, but I wanted to compare it to Terra Moon's Moon Mosaic, which actually in concept is kind of more similar to Half Sea Fog now that I see it. But this is a shadow that just hasn't really done it for me. It's like pretty in theory, but it just doesn't have the brightness that I want it to. And then I also have Colored Rain Malibu. This is kind of like the straight shade that I've been referencing, or the type of shade I've been referencing that I use a lot in custom palettes, but I think Aqua Abyss will definitely take its place in the future. Next I have Devinah Electra, and I'm going to compare that to Flare Star from Terra Moons. They are a very similar formula. You can see that they're like almost flaky, almost sheer at first layer, but so extremely sparkly. But Flare Star is definitely way more hot pink, and this one's a little bit more of like a coppery medium pink. Next I have Devinah Amphitrite. Ooh, so pretty. I'm gonna compare that to Luna Storm from their Phantom Orbs collection and Antares from Terra Moons. These are definitely all in the same family, but I would say Antares and Luna Storm are the most similar of these three. This one does have a little bit more purple in the base to it, a little bit more blue to it than these two do. And it also has a green flip that I can't get to show, but it is there. Luna Storm does have a flip like that also, but I would say the base color is the thing that differentiates them the most. Just another angle. I can't point while I'm holding the camera and holding my hand up, but the one in the middle is Amphitrite, and you can really see the green now. And I think Luna Storm, if anything, has like a blueness coming through. Next we have Devinah Offshore Mist, and I'm going to compare that to Devinah Orion. They're both similar depth of greens, but Orion's definitely more of like a bright yellowy green. Offshore Mist is more of like a candy apple green that goes to mint. Orion stays around that yellowy green color that it looks like. And finally, I have Sunset Sands from Devinah to compare to Lynx from Devinah. These are also similar shadows, but I think Lynx has a little bit more of a brown base and a little bit more of a gold sparkle. Sunset Sands leans more warm all around. Sparkle in all four of these, though, is beautiful. I just want to say another huge thank you to Devinah for sending this collection my way. It means so much to me as someone with a very small channel to be given the opportunity to showcase new products. And it's something that I'm really, really appreciative for. Another reminder also that I do have that code Hannah, not affiliated, but it means a lot to me if you decide to use it. Thank you. That's going to be everything for today. I hope this was helpful. I hope it provided the information that you were looking for. Hope I was able to give you realistic views of how these shadows will look on you if you do decide to bring them into your home. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. And thank you so much for being here. Bye. I hope UPS delivers to Under the Sea, because this is what all the mermaids are going to be ordering. I hope USPS delivers Under the Sea, because this is definitely what all the mermaids are going to be ordering.